Hi everyone, this is Jen from the Hingham Public Library with another virtual creative workshop. Thanks for joining me. For this workshop, the materials you will need are yarn, a fork, scissors, cardboard, and a hot glue gun. A word on yarn colors. Use whatever yarn you have. Play around with different color combinations. Using a pencil, draw the heart on your cardboard. You can make this heart as large or as small as you would like. You could always cut out 3 smaller hearts and display them strung together if you don't have a large piece of cardboard. I drew mine on a thin box and then I cut it out with scissors. Punch out 2 holes at the top of the heart. I just used a hole punch to do this. Loop your ribbon or your yarn through the holes at the top of the heart for displaying. I would suggest doing a double knot. When you're finished tying it, trim off the extra yarn. Alright, so now we're going to make the fork pom-poms. First, you're going to wrap the yarn around the fork about 30 times. This really depends on how thick your yarn is. So if you have really thick yarn, you're probably only going to want to wrap it 20 times, but if it's really thin, you might want to wrap it closer to 40. You can play around with that and see what works best. After you've wrapped it, you want to trim off the yarn from the ball, and then you're going to cut a tie out of that piece of yarn. You want to put the tie through the fork, right in the middle there. And you're going to tie it as tight as you can around the middle. Now you're going to slide it right off the fork and cut through the loops, being careful to not cut through the tie that you made. And you want to make sure you cut the loops on both sides. So now you're going to fluff up those fibers. I use a yogurt container as my trash can so that I can catch the pom-pom trimmings. I kind of think of it as giving that pom-pom a haircut. So I'm going to trim it down to the desired shape and size. I kind of work around and fluff it as I go. And there's the finished pom-pom. It's so cute. Put your pom-poms on the heart as you're making them. This will help you have a better idea of how many you'll need. If you're using more than one color of yarn, don't be afraid to mix up the pom-poms and try different designs. Once you've settled on a design you're happy with, arrange the pom-poms. For this one, I use 3 different colors. Glue your pom-poms onto the cardboard heart. I started gluing mine from the bottom, and I pictured my heart in rows, gluing the pom-poms 1 row at a time. This helped me kind of make sure that I glued them all as I was going. A trick that I use when I'm working with hot glue is I give the glue gun a little twirl as I'm pulling it up, or I might use my finger to twirl off those strings that inevitably come off when you're working with hot glue. If you want to glue the pom-poms tightly together, you can do that. You just might have to make more pom-poms to fill in the heart as you're gluing. This will give the decoration a different look, and I'll show you an example of that at the end of the video. For this one, I chose to just keep the pom-poms kind of loose so that you could see the fluff. When you finish gluing, pick up the heart and give it a little shake to make sure that you've glued them all down. And that's it. You're done. Another idea to display the heart is to attach a chain to the loop where you tied the yarn. So you can see on the back here, I just opened up the chain and closed it around that loop on both sides. And I kept the ribbon on this one so I could alternate if I wanted to do a different display. So for the one on the right, you can see I glued the pom-poms together really tightly, and on the left, it's a bit more loose. Again, both you get the heart shape. The one on the left, you can just see more of the fluffiness of the pom-poms, and the one on the right is just a bit more tight. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions at all about this process, please send me an email.